Hi everybody, it's me, Barefoot Lass, and today we are going to make an easy peasy doggy treat recipe. And there's only 3 ingredients. 3, that's it. And it's really healthy for your pup. And if you have a pooch at home, a hungry pooch, you came to the right place, so stay tuned. And if you've been watching my videos, you know at the very end I usually leave a bonus tip. Well, today I snuck the bonus tip in the middle of the video. See if you can catch it. Alrighty, let's make some doggy treats. It's time to make our 3-ingredient doggy treats. All right, this right here is Maggie. She's my baby. She's a senior citizen, and she's getting old. But this is Maggie, and if you hear a little click, 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 and you see this little plant over here moving back and forth, that's just Maggie she's pacing around because she wants some goodies. Okay, let's make the recipe. Now, I'm going to put the ingredients to the recipe in the bottom in the description box. But if you can write them down if you don't want to. If you can't find the description box, you can write them down. The first ingredient is flour, 1 cup of flour. You can use white flour or wheat flour like I'm going to use, or you can even use spelt. If you don't know what spelt is, just look it up. Number 2, the second ingredient, is peanut butter. Now, you can use peanut butter or you can use almond butter. Peanut butter has more protein, but almond butter has more vitamins and minerals, and it has vitamin E in it. But you can use either one, but make sure it's smooth and not the chunky. Now, this is super duper important. A lot of people don't know this, but when they buy peanut butter, they have no clue. You have to look at the ingredients. In the ingredients, if you see aspartame in the ingredients, don't buy it. It is poisonous for your dog. So please, 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 when you use the peanut butter, double check. All right, and that's when a lot of times you give your dogs pills and you use the peanut butter, double, triple check the back. No aspartame. All right, our third, and this is 1/2 cup. 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and 1/3 cup of pumpkin puree. Or is it puree? No, it's French, so it's puree. You definitely want to use the puree, and you do not want to use the pumpkin pie filling, because the pumpkin pie filling has cinnamon and all kind of other spices, and cinnamon is not really good for your dog. And some of those spices, they just put spices on there. They don't even go into detail. So you want plain. The only ingredient in here should be pumpkin. So here's our 3 ingredients. Now let's get cooking. We're also going to need a rolling pin, a spoon, a spatula, and a cookie sheet with parchment paper. And we also need some cookie cutters. Since Maggie's so little, I'm going to use little cookie cutters. And if you have a bigger dog, they actually have those little bone cookie cutters that you can use. And that's all we need. Okay, all we have to do is put in our 1 cup of flour, our 1/3 cup of pumpkin puree, our 1/2 cup of peanut butter with no aspartame in it, now we just mix. You want to combine the ingredients to make a dough. Of course, we have to get our hands dirty. Mix it up to make a dough. If your dough feels too stiff, you can add another tablespoon of the pumpkin puree. But this is feeling pretty good. And you just gather it up into a ball. Just knead it in. And of course, if you made it too wet, just add a little bit of flour. And if it's too stiff, just add a little bit of pumpkin puree. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Squish, oh, it's like Play-Doh. All right, I put some parchment paper down, and I'm gonna sprinkle it with some flour. And I'm going to take half of my dough, I split into 2 pieces. And I smoosh it in your hands to flatten it some. Make sure it's incorporated well. And then I'm gonna put it on here. Flatten it out. A little more flour. Take your rolling pin, put some flour on your rolling pin. Just roll it out to about less than 1/4 of an inch. That seems about right. And then you can take your cookie cutters. Press it in. I am definitely making little ones for little Mags. I'm making different shapes. And you want to put them on your parchment covered baking sheet. You can make these thicker, you can make them bigger. It depends on the size of your dog. So I'm going to set this here and cut out some more different shapes. What are you going to do if you don't have any cookie cutters? Well, did you ever make those peanut butter cookies? Well, this is basically the same thing to do. This is a great tip. You just roll your dough into balls. And depending on how big your dog is, like I'm trying to make mine little. But you just take the ball, the little dough ball, set it down. I'll do 2 of them. Just take your dough balls and just press it down with a fork. See, they look like they look like miniature peanut butter cookies that you make at Christmas time. So we'll make another one. These are a little thicker than mine, but I thought I'd show you that because it saves a lot of time. And if you don't have any cookie cutters, it's the way to go. Okay, this is my first batch. I just did it on a little cookie sheet. I have all different shapes, and I just made 3. These will take longer to bake. You preheat your oven to 300, and you bake it for 30 minutes. And, you know, give or take, because these are really little, and some of them you might make a big dog bones. So you just kind of have to test them. We want them to be crunchy, not soft, okay? So I'm going to put them in the oven. Since mine are so tiny, like they are little, I'm going to put it at 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna check them. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes. Let's see if they're done. I think they're ready. And I'm going to put them on a cooling rack and let them cool. They look pretty good. And they're crispy. So now I'll wait till they cool, and I'll put all 2 batches, and I'll put them in an airtight container, and you can store them. You don't have to put them in the fridge, and I'll just store, you can store them up to 2 weeks. Well, I can't end this video because a good friend of mine told me, if you make a recipe, you have to test it at the end and take a bite. Well, since Maggie's full, and I guess I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. After I baked them, I ate a whole bunch of them when they were first out of the oven, and they were pretty good. But, all right, here's one here. It's a star. And I am going to take a taste. I'm eating dog treats. What the heck? They're not as good as they were yesterday when they were fresh out of the oven. But, I mean, they're kind of crunchy and they're kind of dry. But they're still pretty good. Okay, look how many I got out of two little tiny batches, like 1 cup of flour. That's pretty many. Plus, I think I ate like 10 of them yesterday. Okay, now do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's free. And hit that bell because then you'll be alerted to my next episode, which is going to be either how to get a set-in oil stain out of clothing, or it's going to be about my favorite fire starters. I'm not sure yet. I'm really not sure. But make sure you stay tuned and catch it. Okay, you all have a really blessed day, and see ya!